You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hey everyone, great to have you back here today. Welcome back to the Cabral Concept. Excited to get started with our Friday review. It's one day after Thanksgiving. I do hope that if you were celebrating, at least here in the United States, you had a safe holiday, you had an enjoyable holiday, probably maybe ate a little bit more than you thought you may have, or maybe you stuck to your diet and good for you. Either way, we're getting back on track today. I do hope that you listened to the podcast this week, which are really dedicated to the holidays and keeping you on track. If you didn't, check out Tuesday's podcast using exactly what I'm doing right now in my private practice for people this holiday season to ensure they stay on track for the next 6 weeks, so they don't let the next 6 weeks really completely derail them before they get to January 1st and hit that reset button. So much you can do before that. You'll feel so much better going into the new year. Check that out. That was episode 1019, and then on Wednesday it was chemical embesogens. That was a super popular topic. Happy to see that. You never actually know when I'm recording what's going to be the biggest. And yesterday being our healthy holiday shopping guide for 2018. Some of the best from the past and also some brand new additions for this year. So do hope that you tuned into that. Now today we are getting the show started off right. By popular request, I'm bringing you 3 of the items that people have been asking about before we get into our super nutrient of the week. So excited to get into the show. Let's get started. And I did not put them on our holiday gift-giving guide yesterday, but ever since we did our show on the symptoms of mold, I do hope that you checked out that show. That was episode 992. Just go to stephencabral.com/992. I list all of the symptoms there and really go over. So many people are walking around right now with mold toxicity, and they don't even know it, and it's leading to so many other issues. There's an amazing test that you can run right at home for your body. It's a simple urine-based test. I'll link that up in the show notes. I need to make sure that my team knows about that because it's the holiday weekend, but let me put that in there. So that's 992, and today is episode 1022. So in episode 1022, I need to get you that mold urine test that you can do right at home to see if you literally have these byproducts of mold. There are 3 different main types. So one is you can actually ingest or get the mold itself into your body, the allergen into your body, okay? That's bad enough. That's an invisible. They're mold spores. Those are in the air. They can also be on packaged foods. Now, the next part is actually a pathogenic-based mold, an infection that you can get from mold bacteria-based exposure or mold that resembles a bacteria in the body. This is a very pathogenic form of mold as well. And then there's the actual mold. They're called mycotoxins. And this lab test tests for all of those as well. It's an amazing lab test. And I had mold toxicity many years ago. And it was one of the reasons, besides my gut-based issues, but one of the big reasons of why I had such debilitating allergies and puffy eyes and red eyes and all of those things. So luckily, I was fortunate enough that a doctor shared this lab test with me, and now I'm trying to pay it forward, share it with others as well, because mold mycotoxins are just as bad. This is actually the waste of mold being secreted into your body, and it's being filtered through your lymphatic system and your kidneys and your liver, and it's obviously not a great thing. It can make you feel like you have all sorts of brain fog and fatigue and joint pain pain and memory problems and different types of mystery headaches and shaking or nervous system based issues or kind of a metallic based taste in the mouth. You can get skin rashes unexplained. You can get night sweats. You can get poor circulation or cold body temperature, allergies, postnasal drip, sinus issues, asthma, any type of eye itchiness or eye swelling or redness of the eyes. All of these are super common with mold toxicity. I did a whole show on it, episode 992. I do hope that you check that out. Okay, so why am I bringing it up today? Well, people want to also test their homes for mold besides their own body. And I said, obviously, that makes sense. So what I'm going to do today is link up a simple mold collection test. What does this do? It's literally a petri dish. Basically, it's a petri dish. You leave it out in your home for about an hour. I leave mine out there for, about 2-3 hours because it's not going to hurt. And you can put it in multiple rooms. You can buy multiple ones and put just one in your kitchen, one in your bedroom, one in your bathroom, whatever you want to do, one down your basement, and see if there's invisible mold in the air, because that mold will be trapped on the petri dish. And then you'll close up the petri dish, you'll put it in a dark environment, and then you'll allow it to basically fester. And you'll see if there's any mold growing in there, and you have it taped closed. Remember, you have it closed off, and then you put it in the environment where the mold will continue to then grow. Because remember, these are things that you're breathing in. There's a reason why I recommend air filters for your house. Why don't I link that up today? All right, I'm going to link up 922, the mold urine test, and air filters for your home. All right, I'll put those right in because those were not on my holiday shopping guide for whatever reason, and they weren't in there yesterday. So I'm going to put in the air filters. Now, inexpensive mold test. You can do it right at home. And you can also, if you think that there might be something growing in the ceiling, it's a little discolored, you can actually do a swab test. And then you send this back to the lab, and it's all included for the same price. So kind of interesting. I've used a bunch of different companies. A lot of them are really obscure companies, to be honest with you. It's hard to get the test back from them. So what I did was I linked up with again, I have no relation to this company, but a lab test that I found that uses the same lab test that I used to use, and it's right on Amazon. So I will link that up for you today, and that is the mold collection kits. All right, I'll link that right up. Next up today, again, by popular demand, bunch of questions about, I did an Instagram story showing everybody the new Berkey water filter that I got. It's a countertop water filter. You can literally get the travel size one, the 1 gallon, or I forget how many quarts it is. You can get the 1.5, you can get the 2.25, which they just came out with. That's the one that I got. The 3 gallon, and then you can get much larger ones from there as well. The nice thing is all of them from, I believe it's the 1.5 gallon or 2 gallon up, all have the same filters, and you can buy the additional fluoride and arsenic filter as well. So I just installed both of my full Berkey filters, and I showed that on an Instagram story. So if you're not following me on Instagram, head on over just to Stephen Cabral, my name, over on Instagram. And I just bought the fluoride and arsenic upgrade filters as well, and I'll be installing those this weekend. I've used a Berkey before in the past, but I love spring water, and I buy a lot of the Mountain Valley glass-based ones. Why don't I link that up in today's show notes as well? Mountain Valley glass bottles. But, they're more expensive, and, they're a lot to ship and store. So what I've tried to do is just cut down on all the plastic water bottles I'm using to the best of my ability. So a glass water bottle, all of those great items. So here's what I did, though. I said, okay, we're going to commit to using the Berkey. It's the best countertop water filter out there. So I just wanted to give you my reason why. There's so many different ones, and I'll link up the Berkey filter today. But the reason why I chose the Berkey I chose the Berkey because it's the best countertop filter. And I chose that one instead of doing the reverse osmosis just to keep some of the natural water, in that, but also without me having to change my sink configuration or house, because I live in a condo right now, so I can't filter the water coming in from the street, from the line. So I have a shower filter, which was talked about yesterday. I talked about the bath filter yesterday on the holiday shopping guide. Today I'm talking about the Berkey that I just bought. I bought the 2.25 because my family uses just a little over a gallon of water per day. So then that's because I also drink spring water as well, and I drink the Mountain Valley. There are other brands that I love. I've named them in the past. I've used those too. So it's not that I don't use those, but Mountain Valley for me, the glass bottles, super convenient. I also drink, my wife and I just at dinner, but we usually have a glass of the Mountain Valley sparkling water too. So they have They have a non-sparkling, they have a sparkling water. And it's completely spring-based, a lot of great minerals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you know that I like Pellegrino as well, all those great things. So I'll sometimes drink some Pellegrino glass bottle as well. So what I did, though, is I said, okay, we're going to replace our plastic and we're going to use this. We're going to commit to it. The smallest one that was right in our class, like, you know, that was good for what we were looking for was the 2.25. It's the perfect size for me. Here's why. Every night as I'm feeding my dog, it's part of my routine. I feed him, and then I'm right there. His bag of food goes right behind my Berkey on the countertop. It's actually beautiful as well. It's stainless steel. It's really, really nice. So I fill up my big blender, and we have a Vitamix in Maine, and we have a Blendtec in Boston. And I fill up the Blendtec. It's the bigger 64-ounce, and I fill that up for the Berkey. So every night I'm just adding fresh water to it, and that gets us through the next day, and I just keep adding water every single night. If we use more, of course, I just add more water, and it filters through in about 30 minutes or so, like all of it. And that's 2 gallons it will filter through. Now, I don't add the full 2 gallons every time, but it just filters obviously through as I need it. So it's a great height. Both of my daughters can go right up to it. They can fill up their own glass with a little airtight spigot or whatever you want to call it at the bottom. And I can feel great because it's the best tested water filter out there. It filters out 99.9% of fluoride, I'm just going to say it's just above 99% for all of these things. It removes fluoride, viruses, pathogenic bacteria, lead, arsenic, iron, mercury, chlorine, bisphenol A, so plastics, chloramines, pharmaceutical drugs, and hopefully you read the Rain Barrel Effect where I talk about all the pharmaceutical drugs that are in your tap water. It removes petroleums, contaminants, different types of methane-based gases, pesticides. You know, pesticide runoff is a huge issue with tap water. Heavy metals, E. coli, coliform, atrazine, uranium, and other types of natural gases and emitters. So, you know, really powerful stuff. I'm going to link up to it on their website as well, so you can get more details on that as well, okay? I'll link that up today. Amazing water filter. The water tastes great, and you don't use any more plastic. Really great. Okay. And it takes out your chlorine, which we don't want, and the fluoride, the main things, right? So really, really great, and all the other potentially harmful things. Now, next up, again, all these things by popular demand from our community. People wanted, now that they've read the other Ayurvedic books that I've recommended in the past, and again, to find those books, just go to stephencabral.com/Ayurveda or /Ayurvedic book, whatever you want, you can check it out there. So the next one, if you're ready to take your Ayurvedic study to the next level, it's something that I've been teaching the integrative health practitioners. You can find out more about that certification on how to become a health coach or learn more about integrative health, which is what I practice, at integrativehealthpractitioner.org. So I recommended this in one of the modules, and it is called, it's an amazing book. It's called the Ayurveda Encyclopedia, Natural Secrets to Healing, Prevention, and Longevity. And it has herbology, nutrition, panchakarma therapy, aromatherapy, hatha yoga, pranayama, meditation, sound therapy, color therapy, gem therapy, exercise, lifestyle counseling, spiritual counseling, circulatory system, digestive system, respiratory, urinary, nervous system, reproductive, immune, metabolic, infectious, and wounds, skin, pet care, and more. It is a great, great book. It is written by Tirtha, is the either Swami Sadashiva Tirtha, may or may not be pronouncing that correctly, but I'm going to link it up again, obviously, in our show notes today. Great book it's 620 or so pages. This isn't something that you need to read in one sitting, but what you can do is you can also keep it as a great reference guide. Love it. Use it all the time, and it's on my Ayurvedic bookshelf as well. So hopefully you'll check out that book. Really is fantastic. If you've been enjoying our Ayurvedic topic podcast, which I'll be getting into more of as well in 2019, this is a great follow-along book for that too. So I'll link that up today on episode 1022, I believe. Let me confirm that. Today is 1022, and I'll link up the Ayurveda Encyclopedia. Okay, great, great book. Now, last but never least, we have our super nutrient of the week. Excited to bring you that, and here's why. Bentonite clay is the unsung hero of GI and skin-based detox, and I'll tell you why. For whatever reason, And it's a great product, so I'm not going to say that it's not. I'm not going to say that it's not a great product. But activated charcoal or charcoal has become like the mainstream popular thing. But I'll tell you right now, it can't hold a candle to bentonite clay. Not for overall use. And here's why. So again, I run a real-world functional medicine practice, an integrative health practice. So I get to see what works and doesn't work in the real world. Not what should work, not what's shown in a lab, but what actually works. Here's what happens over time when people are using, or even first use with charcoal. Again, I use charcoal in my practice. I don't want to say that I don't. I use everything at my disposal for the right person. Well, here's the thing. Charcoal is a carcinogen. We know that. Charcoal is actually not really great for our overall health. But what it is great for is if we get food poisoning, we get sick to our stomach, we need to have it latch on and remove whatever those toxins are. And it's great for that. Charcoal for everyday use, I can't recommend it at all. I would actually say it's detrimental for everyday use. And also, the people in my practice with histamine issues, with a lot of sensitivities to the outside world, with Th2 dominance, with asthma, with itching skin, with eye itchiness, charcoal is loaded with histamines. So I'm not going to recommend that. Okay? So that's why you have to understand everything you're learning from like mainstream media or like just traditional supplement marketing companies doesn't mean it's always the best for you, right? You can use it. And like, again, I've used charcoal in my intestinal cleanses for a long, long time because it works great. How long is an intestinal cleanse? 3 days, 5 days, 7 days. That's it. It's not 6 months, right? You don't want to use activated charcoal or anything like that all the time. But what you could use, because there's a myriad of benefits that goes along with it, is actual clay, bentonite clay. This is coming naturally from our earth. We didn't need to scorch anything, burn anything like that to get the charcoal. What we get with bentonite clay is actually the amazing benefits that we were given in nature with our earth, with clay. There's actually an old school book that was written called Our Earth, Our Cure. I read this, it had to be 10, 12 years ago now, but it talked about the benefits of clay. Now, the interesting thing about clay is this, is that it has the same ability as charcoal. I would say charcoal, if you're a food poisoned, yes, it probably one-ups, but bentonite clay, for grabbing onto toxins and free radicals in the intestinal tract, absolutely amazing. Here's why. The earth, you may have heard of earthing before. If you haven't, check out, just go to stephencabral.com/podcast and just type in earthing in the search bar. So what earthing does, and a lot of the reasons why we feel so great when we go to lakes and we go to oceans and we walk along the sand barefoot or we walk outside barefoot on grass, the reason why that feels so great is that we're picking up natural, what's they're called negative ions from the earth. This is proven, so this is not like it's woo-woo or anything like that. This is real science. Negative ions can help to attach to free radicals that are positively charged. So just think of this. Like, you don't need to get deep into chemistry or physics or any of how this works. If you have something that's negatively charged and you have something that's positively charged, they will literally magnetically bind together. Well, you have clay, which is coming from the earth as negatively charged, and you put it into your body, you ingest it, and it doesn't do anything. The positively charged ions cling onto the negatively charged particle. Now they're bound together, and they're going to be removed through your intestines. It works how nature was intending it to work, right? Like, we didn't make this up as humans. We always have to get through our minds. I always have to as well. Every time I'm like, oh, well, we can do it better. No. And I've read this before, like that people say like, oh, well, we can do it better through modern science. It's just not going to happen. Our job as natural health practitioners, naturopathic doctors, integrative health practitioners, functional medicine practitioners, whatever you want to call it, our job is to get the most out of our body. It's to help our body get all the tools that it needs to heal naturally. And we've been given those things. The vitamins, the minerals, the electrolytes, the herbs, whatever we need, right? And in this case, bentonite clay we can use. So we use it for sure in our intestinal cleanse, and I will link that up. I mean, the intestinal cleanse is absolutely phenomenal. and I recommend it once or twice a year for everyone. Now, people that are doing our parasite protocol, heavy metal detox, mold-based protocol, which I'll be teaching you for free in just a couple weeks, or someone's using our parasite, again, I think I mentioned that Candida protocol, they're all great. They're all great to use halfway through that and then at the end of it, the intestinal cleanse I'm talking about. However, the difference is that bentonite clay could actually be used on a daily basis to help with digestion, to help with actually removal of cancer-based cells. There's 2 studies, one I believe on glioblastomas and the other on that I don't even know how to pronounce, but it's CACO2 cells. This is not that's not my area of expertise, CACO2 cells, but at least there's some decent research. How do you find this out? You will go to Google and type in bentonite clay and glioblastoma. And the other one you can do is go to Google and type in CACO-2 cells, and then you can type in bentonite clay. And you can see the amazing results that come from that. I can link up the PubMed studies, but I'd love you to be able to take control of your own health as well. But I'll give them to you. So I'll make it as easy as possible. And the first one is called The Role of Bentonite Clay on Cell Growth. All right, that's right on PubMed. The Role of Bentonite Clay on Cell Growth. And then you can also type in the second study with cancer research, and you can look at the toxic effects of modified clay on human intestinal cell line CaCO-2. All right. So again, I'm not recommending necessarily bentonite clay for everyday ongoing use, but to use it as part of an intestinal cleanse or to use bentonite clay for a 30-day period of time or so, 6-week period of time, could be absolutely fantastic. It helps with immunity. It helps with killing viruses, basically locking them up in bacteria, especially in the gut. It may help with immune-based or respiratory issues with the adenovirus. It can help with the teeth and the gums, especially with bacteria in the mouth. You can swish it around, gargle it, and spit it out. It will, if you don't have something like the Berkey filter, well, you could put a teaspoon of bentonite clay right in your water, shake it up, allow the bentonite clay to settle to the bottom, and drink the water off the top, not the clay itself, or just strain it through something else. It works great also on the skin. So I've been telling you about how to take it internally. Why don't I tell you how to take it internally fully? You can do the intestinal cleanse, which I will link up. But you can also, for daily use if you want, consume a 1/2 to 1 teaspoon, just shaken up in some water and consumed either upon waking or before bed. You just want to take it away from food. You don't want it to bind up all the great nutrients in food because it can do a little bit of that as well. So to use it on your face, I'm going to link up an older podcast that I did on a natural facial mask. And what it is, and it's so simple. So I gave 2 of them on that podcast, and I'll link them up. So 2 ways to do it. One is literally just putting in 2 to 3 tablespoons of bentonite clay, just enough filtered or distilled water in a ceramic or glass bowl. Don't use metal, with a bamboo spoon or just not a non-metal spoon to mix it up. Make it get to a thick paste. That's it. You don't need to be a rocket scientist with how to do this. Make it a thick paste. Then apply that paste to your face or any type of eczema, psoriasis, skin issues that you're having, acne. Put it on there, allow it to dry up. It might take 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then use a warm or hot face cloth to wash it off your face. Super easy to do, super simple, okay? Then you can also do, and you want to test this just in a small area, on just like a nickel size area on your face, because you don't know how you're going to react the first time you do it. But you could use your own natural chemical peel, we'll call it, on your face with 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, or just a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and a couple tablespoons of bentonite clay. This may never harden. It might not get to that hardened state on your face, but it will allow you to actually have a low pH acid-based environment with the apple cider vinegar. I recommend the Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Again, I'll link up that podcast, tell you exactly how to do it. You put it on your face, 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes, you might feel a little tingling, and you'll wash it off. You'll see the next day if there's any redness. Of course, you don't want to walk around with that, red face. Again, it's usually not harmful or anything, but all you did was you took off a little bit of that top layer, which gives you that natural chemical-based peel. So what do you do? What happens when you put bentonite clay on your face? You don't have to use the apple cider vinegar. Don't even recommend it the first time that you do it. But what it does, it draws the toxins through your pores into the clay, and then you wash that clay off. Works fantastically well. Super inexpensive to do as well. So I will link up just straight bentonite clay, and I did that on that previous podcast. And I will also link up the intestinal cleanse, the facial mask episode, all sorts of great things that you can use. But again, bentonite clay, natural modality used from the earth. Keep in mind, we're going to consider an herbal based. So what I recommend is anyone that is pregnant, any women that are nursing, we are not going to use this product. And the reason is that anything comes from the earth, can be the best in the world, could contain some lead. Because there's lead in our earth. This isn't necessarily a scary thing. People, if you're going with a good functional medicine company and you see a Prop 65 label that says this product may cause birth defects, et cetera, they have to put that. The amount of lead in that product is so minuscule that you would get more walking around in the city of LA or a regular city, and you'll breathe in more lead. You'll get more lead from consuming a lot of conventional-based produce, right? So especially like spinach and anything like that. You'll get more lead from that. But those things don't have to be labeled, right? So it's not something to be as scared about, but I just recommend, just for women, that we don't do any herbal-based supplements, no detox-based supplements while pregnant or nursing. That's always my recommendation, right? And I don't recommend it for children as well, unless recommended by a healthcare practitioner. You can use herbals with children, just should be recommended by a healthcare practitioner, and typically over the age of 4 years old. Now, again, we've used them with children much younger, but it should be under just the guidance of a healthcare practitioner. Hopefully this was helpful. Always happy to share things that I've seen that are successful in my practice, and especially natural things such as bentonite clay or clays. French green clay can work great as well, that come from the earth. Thanks so much for tuning in. And of course, if this was helpful, do feel free to pass it along to anyone else you believe it could serve. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.